All right, Studio One Pro 7 is officially here, and they've added a lot of updates to this, but today we're going to focus on some of the key updates that I actually like. So let's go ahead and go through a few of these updates so you guys can see what's going on with the new Studio One Pro 7.
Bolo!
All right, so the first thing that has changed is the name. It is not Studio One anymore. It is going to be called Studio One Pro. And that even goes for the subscription service. It's not Studio One Plus. It is now Studio One Pro Plus. And with that comes new pricing as well. First is the perpetual license. That is now $199. That is down $200 because it used to be $399. And the cool part about that is you get a year's worth of updates, and at the end of that year, that latest version of the updates, you will get that perpetual license forever, unless you want to upgrade again. But you get that perpetual license forever after that year is up. Now, for all of my people who have the Studio One Pro or the Studio One Artist, if you guys want to upgrade, it's only $149, and you will go ahead and get 12 months, and you will get the same perpetual license treatment. Okay, so you get the same things as the perpetual license. You just have to upgrade, and it will be $149 for that upgrade. Now, if you want to take this a step further and get the whole entire suite of the digital creative tools, you can go ahead and get the subscription service. Now, this ain't just your old regular subscription type of a service. With this subscription, you get all of the tools and all of the updates for 12 months. And at the end of the 12 months, the latest update, you will get a perpetual license that lasts forever. Unless you want to update the subscription service again. So basically with all of the pricing options, at the end of the 12 months, you got a decision to make. Either you can stick with that latest version, or you can update using the perpetual license, or you can update using the subscription plan to get the new stuff. So say for instance, at the end of the year, it's like Studio One Pro 7.5. Once that year is over with, you get that 7.5 forever. You can just keep it unless you want to upgrade it. But either way, you can just stay where you're at if you want to, and you can just stay there. Now, I know some of y'all are thinking, oh, here we go again with subscription and we got to pay for updates and all that stuff. I understand it. But at the end of the day, these companies have to have some type of capital to keep this thing moving. So if you like the program and you want to see more updates, you're going to have to, pay a little something. I think it's a dope program. So let's go ahead and open up Studio One Pro 7 so I can show you guys all of the new features that I actually like. And let's make a beat with it as well. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so we are now in Studio One Pro 7, and we now have a feature that you guys have asked about. We now have the new stem separation inside of Studio One Pro 7. It is very easy to use, and I'm gonna show you guys how fast it is to separate stems. Now, I have a loop in here already. I have used this loop before. The reason why I use this loop is because it is very difficult to separate. Some programs separate this pretty decently, and some programs really messed it up. So now we're going to see how Studio One Pro 7 breaks down this loop using the stem separation. So let's go ahead and play the loop back real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and separate it. All right, so there's the loop, and now let's go ahead and separate it. So there's two ways we can separate this loop. The first way is we can just go ahead and click on it, go to audio, and then we just go to separate stems. Now, the easiest way to separate this is on a Mac, you can press Command U, and I believe on a Windows, you can just press Control U. So let's go ahead and press Command U on my Mac, and bam, there it is. Everything is ready to go. You have your vocals, your drums, your bass, your other, which is your melody parts, and you can actually click which ones you want and which ones you don't want, but I'm gonna go ahead and click on all of them, and I'm just gonna press OK. And let's see how long this takes. All right, this is real time, and it's done really fast. And as you guys can see, it muted out that first track, and it created a containing folder right here with all of the stems in here. So let's go ahead and play each of the stems individually and see how this thing came out.
Come back home, pretty baby.
All right, kind of did pretty good on them drums. Let's go ahead and see what this bass is sounding like. All right, bass sounded pretty good. Now let's see the other parts, which is like the melody parts. Let's see how it did with those. Not too bad. Not too bad. It actually separated this thing really good, considering the fact this is a very hard sample to separate. So I'm actually kind of impressed. Like, this did a really good job. All right, the loop that I use is a Splice sample, and it is very easy now to get your Splice samples into Studio One Pro 7 because now Splice is directly integrated into the program. Oh man, it just keeps getting better. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the new Splice integration inside of Studio One Pro 7, and I'm gonna show you guys how easy it is to make a track just using nothing but Splice sounds. All right, for the sake of not making this video too long, I went ahead and I made a sketch of a beat, and I actually used one of their newest VSTs in Studio One Pro 7, and that is the Deep Flight 1. Now, the Deep Flight 1 is a dope VST. It comes with a lot of like regular sounds and stuff in it, but it comes with a ton of hybrid sounds. And the cool thing about this is depending on where you position this right here, like you could take this and move this around and just move it like this. Depending on where you position that, it gives you a sound. Like it just like morphs your sound into something totally different. So I'm going to play you guys what I got right now. And then I'm going to kind of scroll through a few of these sounds, and then I'm going to pick a sound, and we're actually going to build a beat using Splice samples. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So let's go ahead and play this real quick. Now, as you guys can see, I moved it around and it actually changed the sound a little bit because the more you move it around, you can kind of dial it into exactly what you want. But I'm going to go through a few of these presets. I'm going to find a preset, and then from there, I'm going to do a trick to where we can add more sounds to this beat. All right, I kind of like that. It's called Noisy Strings. It sounds weird. It sounds really textured. And I just kind of moved this around a little bit to try to get it to where I want it to sound. And it sounds pretty decent right where it's at. And the good thing I like about this plugin is it comes with a cutoff, comes with a sample shift, reverb, delay. You can actually make your own sounds in here by combining sounds and stuff like that. It has effects and everything. This is a really dope VST, and you definitely want to check this out when you get Studio One Pro 7. All right, so now how do we access Splice? So all we simply have to do is go to our browser. As you guys can see, we're in our home section right here. We can either select Splice right here in the home section, or we can go ahead and just select Splice right up here at this top little screen right here, this little bookmark screen up here. So we can select that, and then we are now in Splice. Now, the cool thing about it is if you do not have a Splice account, you can sign up for it. As long as you have Studio One Pro 7, they will give you some free Splice credits so you guys can go ahead and use Splice even if you don't have an account like that. Now, we can easily go in here and search sounds that we want, but the coolest thing about this whole new Splice feature inside of Studio One Pro 7 is they have a search with sound. So we can actually drag in sounds, and then what'll happen is Splice would do its whole little AI thing, and it will match you up with certain loops and sounds that you guys can use inside of your actual beat. And the cool thing about it is it will automatically detect your key and the tempo of the stuff that you are dragging in to the search. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So let's go ahead and take these three parts right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these and drag these in to the search. And it's going to do its thing. All right, it's processing it. It's going to bounce the whole thing down. And then now what it's going to do is we have our reference right here. And now it's going to find sounds for us that can fit this. So now it has matched up a whole bunch of sounds and loops that can work with this actual reference beat that we have right here. And we can just scroll through and find stuff that we like. And it's going to be matched to the tempo and the key. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the beat. I'm going to go through a few of these sounds, and then we can actually go through and see what type of instruments and stuff we want to add. We can add synthesizers, bass, whatever. We can kind of go through and filter stuff out, and we can add them to the beat. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I actually like this one right here. So what I'm going to do is just simply just go and I'm going to just drag this in to the beat. And then now we can use this with the actual beat. So let's play it back. All right, and it has another part in here, but I'm not going to use that for right now. So let's go ahead and take that right there. And let's try to find some other sounds. Let's try to go right here and try to find like a synth sound that will match with the reference. And let's see what we can find. All right, that sounded pretty good. Let's go and add that in there too. So let's go and drag this in here and let's add that. Let's go ahead and kind of mix these in a little bit better so it won't be, you know, too loud right here. Let's go and take that and let's mix this in. All right, sounds pretty good. Now let's go ahead and we already have a snare and a hi-hat. Now let's go ahead and take the reference off and let's just try to find an 808 bass. So let's go ahead and just press 808. And then we got a few 808s we can pick. All right, not that one. That one sounds pretty decent. Now we got this 808 in here. The only thing I don't like about this is it's not like how we can go ahead and right click and then add this to a sampler. You can't do that. And if we drag it in, it's going to just drag it in straight to the timeline. There's no way we can just really kind of add this into the sampler unless we create a sampler track and then we can drag it in like that. I really wish there was a way to where we can just take this sample and like maybe drag it over here and then the sampler or something like that will pop up and then that way we can just have it in there. But they don't have that yet. I spoke on it before. It's not a huge major thing, but I think it would be something that would be very cool that we can just take this and add this directly to the sampler. In Studio One, you can make a macro and it'll do that, but I think it'd just be easy if we could just take it and just, you know, slide it over. But, you know, it's just me out of 8 billion people who will want that. But either way, let's go ahead and go to sample one. Let's add this in here and then let's go back over to Splice. All right. And here's the sample right here. We can just slide this in now, and then now we have the sample in here, and now we can play it. And then let's go ahead and add this bass in real quick. All right, sounds pretty good. We got a nice 808 in there. We can add in kicks. We can add in more sounds. We can do a whole bunch of stuff by just using Splice. And then now that we have this beat made, I'm going to show you guys something that is even really cool. And I know a lot of you people that come from the fruit side will actually like this. So say, for instance, we have this beat. And let's just say, for instance, we like how it sounds. It sounds cool. But we want to hear this in a different key. The cool thing about Studio One Pro 7 is we now have a global transpose, okay? And it's very easy to use, very simple. So what you want to do is you want to go in here and select all your tracks, make sure you go into the inspector and make sure that the global transpose is turned on, okay? And once you highlight everything, it's going to be turned on for all your tracks. So now if we want to hear this in a different key, we can just press play and then right here at the bottom where it says transpose, we can just move this up or down. And it's that easy. Watch this. And it's that easy. And now let's just say, for instance, you don't want to affect maybe like the snare and the hi-hat. So basically what we can do is we can just select on the hi-hat and on the, well, we use the clap in this one. We can just turn the global transpose off, and then now it will retain where it was at and everything else will be transposed. And I forgot to mention, this is not only for beats. The global transpose works for vocals as well. So if you have a full session with vocals and the beat and everything included, the global transpose will work for everything. So if you want to transpose your whole track, it will do the whole track. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about the updates to Impact. Now, you guys know I've been very vocal on this, and I think they actually took some steps to where we are now headed in the right direction to where we can just drag and drop samples into Impact. But let me show you guys something really quick. All right, so I got Impact pulled up right now. As you guys can see, it's taking up a lot of real estate because I make most of my beats on my 13-inch MacBook. All right, so right now what I did was I just double clicked on this blank container little file right here, and then it took us down to the editor. And then what you can do is you can click right here where it says pad controls, and then bam, there it is. You have Impact right here, and we can actually take this, we can resize it, we can make this bigger. We can take this right here, pull this in, have it on the top, resize this, and do all of that. So now you can do everything right here while you're editing everything inside of Impact. So that's pretty cool. That way you don't have to worry about having that big Impact screen all over your session. Now, another thing that they did for Impact is kind of cool because it actually shows that they are moving in the right direction to where we could possibly someday be able just to drag and drop samples in the Impact and into the sampler and be able to chop up samples and all that good stuff. So what you can do now is I have this loop right here, and if I play it, all right, sounds pretty cool. What I can do now is I can actually take this loop and hold shift while I'm dragging it in here. I can take this loop and hold shift. And then once I do that, we can actually move this, and now it actually has this to where we have MIDI files. So now that we have these MIDI files, we can take these files and we can either erase some of these files, we can add other little files to it, move this, do that, and we can do a whole bunch of stuff with it with our MIDI files. Now, I have not seen a way to where I could stretch these files to be longer. They just automatically replace these files, and we just have to use them like how they are right now. Hopefully, they make it to where we can have more control over these automatic chops to where we can really kind of fine tune it and do what we want to do. But it is taking the Impact into another step to what I was saying about us dragging and dropping audio directly into here. And you know, to be able to chop it up and manipulate samples and all that good stuff. So they're taking the right direction right here. So, you know, I can see some things happening with this. All right, so that basically concludes all of my favorite features in the new Studio One Pro 7. They have a whole bunch of other features like the new launcher and the way you can go ahead and really pattern out your beats without having to do all the cutting and pasting and all that good stuff. And they have a lot more features as well for you guys to go ahead and check out. But yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and pick this up, go ahead and click the link in the video description. And I hope this video was informative. I hope you guys learned something from it. And like I always say, peace out.